Honestly, though, you guys, I feel like this episode is going to get hate because America's all about being comfortable. Like, Ilona and I...
That's the problem.
Ilona and I are freaks. People are like, what is wrong with you? Why do you dress like that? I'm like, I like to. Welcome to the Glamorous Grind, where law meets lifestyle and power always has a look.
Our guest today is Dean Hall, stylist and image consultant. He's worked with celebrities, CEOs, big brands, and even has his own segment on Fox 5.
It's not just about looking good. It's about power, credibility, and the energy you project. We will discuss power dressing and how women can own authority and femininity through fashion.
All right, Dean. Well, thanks for joining us in very cool shoes
Thank you.
an outfit that stands out.
Ilona and I both love fashion, so we're so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. I am a fashion person through and through. It goes back to high school, so I've always loved fashion.
Oh my gosh, same.
Yes.
Same. I mean,
They used to call me the club girl because, yes, I was always fashionably late, and you could hear my high heels click, click, click in the hallway before I would walk in.
well, I feel like in our culture, fashion is like how you present yourself is a big part of your identity, who you are, and like how I was raised. And I don't know if your family was the same way. It was like being fashionable or like dressing up, showing up for yourself as a part of showing respect. Mm-hmm. Like my grandmother would say, even when I was in college, everyone would like think I'm crazy because my grandma would tell me if you're going into an exam, you have to put on a nice dress and heels because that's showing respect to your professor.
Yep.
And I did. I always wore heels to college, and everyone's like, what's wrong with you? Everyone's like in pajamas. I'm like walking around. Yeah.
I mean, it's something that I think as a matter of culture in former Soviet Union, like all women, they wouldn't go outside in sports clothes or flats to even go buy groceries. Like you had to wear a dress and you got to do your makeup. It was uncommon for anyone not to take care of their hair or makeup or their clothes. It was expected. And if you didn't do that, they think something is wrong with you. You're like an alcoholic or you don't take care of yourself.
I was always raised that way. I got married when I was 21. I went to visit my husband's family, and my grandma said, don't go downstairs. Don't let anyone see you until you like wash your face, brush your teeth, put on your makeup, and get dressed.
Which nowadays, since I have a lot of kids and sometimes I run late in the morning and I have to drop off my daughter, and then I'm like, okay, I need to go buy something at Sprouts, and I'm wearing slippers and I haven't brushed my hair very well yet and I have no makeup on, and I'm like, okay, do I walk like this into a store in public? But I hear my grandmother's voice, do not be seen like that in public. But I've violated that rule so many times now because nobody really cares anymore. Nobody gives a shit in America what you look like. It's up to you.
I care. I think ladies are still holding that line and holding on to it, but men are just like, it drives me crazy. It's the cargo shorts, the flip-flops, the polo. I'm like, no, like that just shows that you just don't care, right? One of my favorite designers, Tom Ford, says, dressing well is a form of manners.
So how did you get into the fashion industry? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, when I was younger, I used to always save up my allowance and I would buy GQ. So I mean, I would, anytime I would get like an A on a paper, I just always saved up all my money and was buying GQ.
Oh my God, you're my dream child. Yes. My son refuses to wear nice clothing. It's so hard.
My nephews too.
Just bribe them. You know, every time you look nice, we give you $20. You iron your pants, $20. You wear a not wrinkled shirt, $20. And instantly you'll start to fall
One doesn't stop.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. So my friend that I went to high school with, she got into VH1 as a publicist. And so when she was in LA, she's like, hey, we're starting this new show called Basketball Wives. We need a stylist. We don't really have a big budget. And I think that's something that you want to do based upon your social media. At the time, I was writing this little blog that was basically just like taking pictures from NeimanMarcus.com and Nordstrom.com and just giving my feedback on it. I wasn't really doing much. And so I went to the meeting. I did really well. And I think the reason was because I had underbid severely. And I got the job, did that for 2 seasons. It was an experience, to say the least. Reality TV is like going to the zoo, but the animals are just running wild. I mean, it is just screaming, the production side, the clothes side, you know, they're throwing drinks at each other. It It was shocking. I was
Sounds
literally
fun.
thrown into the deep end. Oh my God. It was anything but fun.
Did you get yelled at
like,
any point because
oh
you asked somebody to wear an outfit they hated?
Oh, absolutely. And then production likes to provide input too. It's like, no, they need to do this. And so I'm thinking, well, why don't you just fucking dress them? You know, since you have so much input, what am I doing here? So it was just that constant trying to follow what's fashionable, what looks good on them. And then a lot of times people think that they know what they look good in, but have no idea. So it was this constant struggle. Did that for a little bit, and that was like, okay, I can't do this all the time. So then I worked on the Real Housewives of Orange County. I worked with Alexa Bellino for a couple years. That was fun. And I was just like, no, I can't do anything. I want to stay in San Diego. At the time, there was a magazine called Fashion 50. They had tapped me to be the fashion editor. So I did that for about 3 years, and then Fox 5, one of the producers was like, hey, we like your style. We want to come in and do a segment. Did one segment, and when I tell you, I sweat through my whole shirt. I was so nervous. I'd never done it. I'll never forget. I was wearing a sky blue Dolce & Gabbana shirt. And by the time the segment was ended, it was like all sweaty.
Did that air like that?
Yes. I was like, oh my, talk about mortified. I was like, no. It was quite shocking. And then from there, it kind of snowballed. I got to work with Antonio Gates and some of the Charger players. But one of my biggest things was when Bentley released the Bottega. So they had me style the runway show for the release at Beverly Hills. And I was like, wow. That moment was just probably one of the highlights to this day.
So, since you sweated in that blue shirt, did you start wearing T-shirts under shirts after that?
And I would never, ever was someone who sweat. But I think it was because I hadn't done something like that before. And it was so big. Yeah. And also the lights, too, on set were kind of warm. And so I'm just sitting there just like sweating. A
lot of lawyers do in court. When they're nervous, you'll see puddles, and like with men, if they take off their jacket, it's like all the way down here, and it's funny. And when you're litigating, like, I made you sweat.
I always tell people too, a really good thing is to put paper towels in there. So if you can just take paper towels to the inside as well as antiperspirant, it'll help to absorb that.
That's so uncomfortable.
It's very but it's not as embarrassing. I'd rather be uncomfortable than embarrassed. So, yeah, it definitely helps for sure.
So I want to bring up one thing that I think it's important. And I brought this up previously for a second before we started shooting, is that I think a lot of people may take offense to this episode because a lot of people, like in America, it's so in to be comfortable.
Yes.
And like nothing against that.
Right.
Style or lack thereof. But I think it's important to recognize that, like, fashion is still a thing. And, the reason we're doing this episode is because how you show up, how you present is so important in the professional sense.
Yeah, there's no second first impressions, right?
Yeah.
And I think San Diego is one of those places that I love the weather. Love the people, but the style is just...
What style?
Exactly.
Sometimes I judge myself and I'm like, am I shallow? Because this person shows up to a business meeting not looking professional at all. And to me, it's maybe my stereotype. I'm like, all right, if you don't take care of how you look, how are you going to deliver the product and service to me if you don't care about how you look?
100%.
And I judge lawyers like that too. I mean, if somebody comes to an interview, if they look sloppy, I'm like, your work is probably going to be sloppy.
Exactly.
How you do anything is how you do everything.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
That's my life motto.
And it's so key. It's so key. I think, San Diego for the climate has always been more relaxed fashion and style-wise. And I think with the pandemic, it kind of amplified that more relaxed. People were at home. And I think people are just not willing to let that go as much. But I will always suffer in style. I think about back in the old days, like the Ateliers, like Cristobal, Balenciaga, Christian Dior, Yves Saint Laurent. Like those guys were always dressed up no matter what time of the year. There were suits, there were ties, there was certain decorum that was... we're lacking today, Even when you look at the old historic photographs of San Diego from 1800s in the courtroom or around, county of San Diego offices, people wore tall hats. Men wore suits. They didn't have washers and dryers at the time. They didn't have dry cleaning, but these people dressed up. Women wore long dresses. Yep. They didn't dress casually, although they had to sew everything themselves and hand wash everything. Exactly.
Well,
I want the pocket watches to come back. I miss that.
Oh my gosh, that was...
That attention to detail, right? Like, to me, I always say true style lies in the detail. And so having those little pocket watches, just like the nice shoelaces. Now I see people like walking on their shoelaces. That is one of my things that just drives me crazy. Anyone walking on their shoelaces or the back of their pants. I instantly want to just like,
what do you think about the style when men had their jeans, all the way down.
Oh my God.
Sagging jeans.
Showing.
No.
Were you ever a fan of that? You're from New Jersey,
No,
so what
it was
did you think?
everywhere. Me and the belt industry were just doubled over. It was so bad. It's sloppy because again, it showed that you don't care, right? Your presentation.
Well, in that sense, I do want to just bring up the fact that, being stylish or being presentable doesn't always mean you have to have money. You don't have to wear designer brands to be presentable. So there's a big difference between someone showing up to a meeting. You don't have to show up in Chanel and Dolce & Gabbana,
Right.
but also like showing up with your hair undone and looking like you just rolled out of bed and putting no
Exactly.
effort into your look. You can
Yeah,
go
you
on
nailed it.
nowadays. I think there's no excuse for not looking presentable because everything is so cheap and accessible. You
Absolutely.
can go on Shein or Temu and order like very nice things from China, very cheap.
Exactly. $5.88. Like
Yes!
before, you
Those two. There are plenty of stores like Forever 21, Papaya. Like I'm thinking of
Yes.
stores that I shopped when I was in law school.
Charlotte Russe.
Yeah,
Remember
Charlotte
back
Russe.
in
That
the
was my
day?
favorite.
I love Charlotte Russe.
But I used to spend more money than I had to because there was always a sale, and I'm like, all right, I have to buy it for my cousin. I have to buy it for my
Yep.
everybody, and I ended up spending 5 times more because like it's on sale and I need to buy it for
You
everybody.
have to buy it. It's just like you have to do it. It's something that you have to do. Yeah, it's just so important. I think we have just gotten away. But like you said earlier, being comfortable.
Yeah.
I am someone who will suffer because I don't have an arch. So if I like a shoe and it looks good, I am going to just drink more wine. But I refuse. I've seen that so many times that people take their shoes off at events, and that is so cringe.
I know.
Like,
I don't
oh my
do that
gosh,
either.
why would you do that?
I mean, I don't judge people for doing that because
I
I
do.
get it, but I will judge myself. Like, I'm actually not mean when it comes to other people. I won't
Yeah.
be like, oh, how, but I will judge
You're so
myself.
hard on yourself about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just suffer until I get home and then I'm on the floor just crying, like, oh my God, not
Oh,
again.
I
And then put it
have
back up.
had, the first time I bought like my very first pair of red bottoms, I wore them. I remember I was working at a law firm and they had a 10-hour Christmas party.
No,
It started at like
what?
10 in the morning and it went, it was all. And I wore these red bottoms, like thinking like my first pair of red bottoms. I was like a second-year attorney. Literally by the end of the night, my feet were bleeding.
Yeah, and he's
bleeding.
known for making that. He's gone on record
Oh.
so many times saying he makes them just for looks. It's not about comfort.
Mm-mm.
You would just learn to deal with it. Even Sofia Vergara said in an episode of Modern Family, she's like, oh, I haven't felt my feet since I was 15. It's just you get used to that pain of wearing the high heels. It's just something that comes with it.
Red bottoms are not for the weak.
I used to wear like stripper size shoes when I was a teenager. The 6, because I always wanted to be taller. I wanted to be a model when I was younger, but they told me I was too short. So
Oh.
then I started ordering those tall platform
The big
shoes with
platforms,
6
yes.
inch heels, and that's what I wore for a long time.
And those are probably more comfortable than
They
the
are
Louboutins.
comfortable, very
Yeah.
comfortable.
Well, 'cause they have the
Laval's and
platform at the
Silkies.
top.
Yeah, which helps it. But
Yeah,
the
which
straight
my
stiletto,
I danced
shoes
all night in
now
them
are the
until the
same. They're
morning, and it was
comfy.
great.
You're like perfect.
Never had to take them off as
You're
often
like
as I have
perfect.
to take off the dress shoes.
So, Dean, now we're going to transition to our red flag, green flag segment. Are you ready?
Ready? Let's go.
We're going to hit you with some rapid fire scenarios, and you're going to have to tell us if it's a red flag or a green flag and why.
Let's do
Okay?
it. Sorry in advance.
Number 1, a female attorney wears leopard print pumps to a closing argument.
Green flag.
Yes!
Green flag. Leopard is my thing. Sorry. Leopard is my thing.
You were a snake.
I'm wearing a snake. I can't help it. Snake and then like a spike snake. It says it is as I mentioned earlier, true style lies in details. And to me, that says I kicked your ass. I'm just putting a bow on the ass kicking.
I agree. It's just like a statement of bravery.
Exactly. Braveheart. It's just-
All right. A litigator wears a bold red dress on the first day of trial.
Red flag.
What? I
Red
would wear a red
flag.
dress on the first day of trial.
To me, it says that showy, you're doing too much. And rather than focus on the facts, it says, look at me. Because red is very like bull. Like, you're the cape. So it's like, look at me, rather than listen to me. Sorry.
Hey, but it could be the first day of the other side's opening trial and you want to distract them.
You want to shock them? Yes. But I would still say no. Think about it fastly, quickly. Yes. No.
What about with the black jacket? Not just the dress.
That's a yellow flag, so it's in the middle. Now we're getting warm. Now we're getting warm.
Okay, next one. You're overdressed at a casual industry mixer.
Green flag. There's no such thing as being overdressed.
Yes, thank you.
Impossible.
There is a
Impossible.
quote that I love. It says, you can never be overdressed or overeducated.
Amen to that.
Amen.
Yes. There just is no way. I mean, looking good, again, you can wear tux, in my opinion, you can wear tux anywhere. Like, especially as a man in a tux is perfect. A woman in a great suit or a perfect LBD little black dress works everywhere.
I think what would be cool in the United States if women were able to wear hats like they do in London on a daily basis, because then it would be cute.
Do it.
You could, but
Carrie
okay,
Bradshaw
so would
does
it be
it.
a red or a green flag to wear cute hats to court with your suit like they do in London?
Green flag. So funny you mentioned that because I love that they wear wigs in the courtroom in London. I'm like, bring those wigs back. And those, oh my gosh. Yes,
I think
that's a
they're
green
ugly.
flag.
The white ones?
Oh, I love those things. Yes, absolutely.
I think they're not
Bring
cute,
those-
but they're like a very strong sign of authority.
Exactly. It's very much our forefathers. So bring that back, and then you can wear the fascinators, 100%.
Your outfit makes you feel amazing, but doesn't align with the company dress code. Energy first or fit the framework.
Red flag. You need, in order to continue to be happy and live, you need a job. So if
Yeah.
the company is saying like, you can't wear it, think of interesting ways of how you can incorporate it, right? It's so funny. Years and years and years ago, I worked in the contract department, and I would go there with like these blue Prada, like with Pilot's shoes on there, and my boss would be like, "Why are you wearing that? Like, this is the accounting contract department. What are you doing?" And so it's just like, I was like, okay, you gotta tone it down. So it's, again, knowing your audience and just.
Yeah.
But I would always wear fun socks. So I was like, I can't wear fun shoes. I want to wear fun socks. So figure out a way how to express yourself. But again, you want to keep a job so you can keep being happy.
Open toe shoes for women in court. That's my pet peeve.
No, red flag. Red flag. It doesn't matter how nice it's a distraction. There's like, not to take it too much to left, but people have like, toes can be distracting for a variety of reasons. We'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah, if you don't have your pedicure done, the reason why I like family law is that, you get, it's more glamorous. You go to court, there's litigation, it's fun. When I was a new lawyer, I tried to do immigration law initially because I speak different languages. And I went to immigration court. And the first counsel on opposing side, she wore sandals to court, open toes, without having a pedicure.
Oh my God. No,
you could almost see the dirt
She's
under her
guilty of
toenails
so
because
many
I looked
things.
at them every day because I was like, what
It's
is this?
distracting. See, that's why.
Yes.
No, it doesn't matter if you can have the prettiest feet in the world. Feet are distracting, especially in a courtroom. Like watching you pace again, and then if it's like hot pink or if it's like white, right? It's just this color is constantly moving, and so people are just like, and not hearing anything you said.
Okay, I have one for you. I actually have two that I want to ask you, and I want your response on both of them. A junior associate shows up in a hot pink pantsuit to a law firm interview.
Red.
I would agree.
Red, 100% red flag. They don't know how amazing you are. And so again, it's animalistic. It could show that you don't care, right? You don't take law seriously, especially depending upon the law firm, right? If it's, I don't know, maybe an international firm, there could just be like etiquette that's there, right?
Yeah.
Or it could be a firm that focuses on domestic abuse, right? So it's like, again, there's so many things that you need to get into the job first, and then then you start to push the boundaries. But on the first time, unless you're going to be like an attorney at Vogue or Elle Magazine, then obviously go in there with the pink and the fuchsia.
Well, that's the
Dolce.
funny thing. Like even with me, like I'm a pretty big fashionista, but we had a girl interview at a prior job, and she came in. She looked so cute. Her outfit was like on point. She had these like see-through open-toed shoes. She had like rings on her toes.
What?
She had like ankle bracelets. She looked so cute, like a super tight pencil skirt. I was like, I want to go out partying with you.
Yes.
Like you're so cute and so cool. But I was like, no, you're not going to work here though, because like that's not a professional way to dress, and not because. And again, it's like know your audience. You obviously didn't do your research, didn't look into where you're applying.
Read the room before you get inside the room.
Wrinkled suits.
Oh my God, red flag. That just shows you don't care. That's one trend I'll never subscribe to.
Yeah.
Being wrinkled anything.
Yeah.
Like
True.
that's wrinkled and dirty.
Can you give our viewers advice on what materials to purchase that are not going to get wrinkled if you're the kind of person that just wears things straight out of a dry cleaner, or out of your dryer?
Well, that's tough because most fabrics within I would say cotton blends tend to hold or the least amount of wrinkle. But if you're someone like silk or some of the nicer stuff, you have to get that press. It's just going to be wrinkled. But I would say anything with a cotton blend is going to be your friend.
So my next question is, a junior associate shows up to an interview with hair undone, looking like they just rolled out of bed.
Double red flag.
Yes, amen.
If you don't care about yourself, you don't care about others. I think the careless look, like the effortless, it takes a lot more work to look effortless than actually just not caring. So that just taking care of yourself, again, if you can't take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of any business that we give you, right?
Yep.
And to me, it just says that you're rushed. You didn't care about, you didn't set proper time. My dad always said 7 P's. Prior proper planning prevents piss poor performance. So
I love that.
God, I
always
need to
think
write
about
that down.
Yeah, it's like, every time it's in my head, I think about everything I do. It's like, why were you late? Why were you unprepared? Why didn't you know what was going on at the law firm interview? All that kind of stuff, So it's just the 7 P's of life.
Anytime my son gets nervous about anything, I always tell him, like, proper planning.
That's
if you're
it.
prepared, you will never be nervous because you have nothing to be nervous about.
Exactly. I think there's maybe 2 types of nervous. Like, sometimes you're nervous if you care.
Yeah.
Because you want people to be able to feel
Right.
all the emotion that you've put into something.
Do you have experience with dressing people for the courtroom?
Yes. One of my good girlfriends, she's an attorney, and I just redid her wardrobe, her professional wardrobe. And so one of the things we did was, I always say, you should stick to silhouettes and avoid prints. Going into a courtroom, and as much as I love Dolce & Gabbana, but going into a courtroom, dressed head to toe in Dolce & Gabbana with those loud prints, while again it's fabulous and works in Vogue, it is so distracting, right?
Yeah.
And so your outfit should be commanding and not distracting when it comes to the courtroom. So strong silhouettes, strong colors, and by that I mean like the navies, the blues, the greys, like pinstripe, not hot pink. Even though we all love Legally Blonde, I'm a huge fan, and I love a pink or fuchsia wide leg trouser in a courtroom, but it doesn't work really well. And when you do white, I always say break it up. And white symbolizes like angelic, right? Like the angel, the savior. So depending upon what kind of court case you're doing.
Do it for opening arguments. I normally do it for my opening or
And
closing
white?
arguments. Yes.
How's that like worked? Have you seen any?
I mean, to me, mentally works. That's
Got
what
it.
I associate it with. Okay, my side is a good side, the white
Yeah,
side. So I'm wearing
exactly.
white, not presenting my story.
Yes.
And when I'm doing cross-examination, I would wear red. Kind of like,
really?
hey,
Interesting.
you're
Really?
the bull.
Do you wear red lipstick with the white suit?
I wear whatever lipstick I can put on before I run out of the house. So that I don't plan.
I love a red lip with a white suit. I think it looks fabulous.
So good. It reminds me of every time that combination reminds me of Scandal with Olivia Pope. It's just so good, that combination, that white with the red. It's just the white knight. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. Yeah, definitely stick to. I always think that courtroom, avoid skirts if you can. I just think it's a distraction. So,
A skirt is distraction?
I mean, when I did our wardrobe, we did do some really good pencil skirts. And I think it's just important to be mindful of like slits. You don't want anything that's going to be too distracting again, or too high or too tight. I've seen that a lot of times too, where it's just so fitted that we can just see so much of the contour of your body. And it's like, this is not really courtroom. This is like dance room, ballroom type thing. So it's just walking that fine line. And then shoulder pads too. Be mindful of that.
No shoulder pads or shoulder pads?
No, like the excessive shoulder pads. No bomb on, right? Like, say, we love the dramatic, Olivier Rousteing.
I love
the
shoulder
drama.
pads.
They're so real, but not big ones. Not like 1980s, that
Okay.
trend.
I think it's important to note, too, like, how you present is going to depend so much on your confidence levels. And your confidence levels are, people can deny it all they want, but people are generally more confident when they are dressed nice.
Yeah, when you look good, you feel good, right?
Yes.
And so no matter what that means to you,
So it's about self-awareness, because if you are dressed like shit, and that's, at least let's say you think that someone's dressed like shit, but they feel amazing.
Oh, yeah.
They feel confident. They don't give a shit.
they might have just given up too. So
Then,
it's like,
or they just don't get it. So how do you become aware when you're not? Like when you don't know what to care about.
Well, I always say when you walk into a room, what are 3 things you want people to say about your style? And that's how you start, right? And I would say in the years that I've been doing this, I've had maybe a handful of people whose wardrobe actually align with their words. A lot of times people think that they're conveying this message and they're really not, right? So it's like, oh, I want to be known as someone who is fashion forward, edgy, but everything in your closet is like Ralph Lauren or Ann Taylor Loft, and it's like there's not really edgy or fashion forward, right? You think maybe because you have like a leather jacket, it's saying that, but overall, it's being able to have that fresh pair of eyes come in, identify what the message is, and then make sure that the wardrobe is congruent to that.
And I like it when I see older men or even older women, I'm talking about 60s, 70s, dress up young, because it makes you think, someone looking from the outside, hey, like they're still living young lifestyle. They still
Look
see
at
themselves
J-Lo.
young.
She's like, what, 50?
She's almost
I'm not
60.
talking. She's not that old. I'm not talking. These are outliers. I'm not talking about J-Lo, celebrities of the world. I'm talking about regular people that are older but are trying to dress young. Like they'll wear shoes
Like
that 20, 30-year-old, cool sneakers, or they'll wear fun shirt or pants and a belt. and they'll style their hair. If they still have hair, they'll style it a certain way, and it's to look young. And it's like, I don't know, just you kind of level with them
it's
more.
Nice to have that youthful soul. Yeah, and there's a youthfulness that lies there, right? And just being careful that we're not trying to like be 20, right? You're just dressing youthful, but not trying to dress like a 20-year-old, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's important. But I love that, like you said, it's just the older guy. I think like Pierce Brosnan is really good about doing that, and he's like in his 70s. Great, he's a celebrity, but like just seeing that kind of like he'll do like a Bruno Cucinelli sneaker and maybe like a lightly distressed dark denim, and so just taking some of those trends and making them feel, I hate saying this word, but like age appropriate, so he's not like wearing shredded jeans to the max. You can see his knee, like it's not that much. So again, just taking those cool little youthful styles and making it their own.
I think I also have those self-limiting beliefs now where, when I was younger, I'm like, okay, I can wear anything.
Yes.
Holes here, holes there, splits up to here. And I'm like, all right, I'm an attorney. I'm, 45 years old now. I have kids. I have a business. I have to portray a certain image, so I can't look like a hooker if I go out,
A crop top and everything. It's just like, it's all about moderation, right? Everything in moderation.
I'm
moderation.
so bad at moderation. I'm awful at it.
No, it's
if you want, my mom will give you a call and she'll set you straight.
I think I need that in my life.
Hopefully, you have that inner voice being like, don't do it. Don't do it. Just because you can wear it doesn't mean you should wear it out. So I would just say some things you just keep in the comfort of your home.
Who's the audience is another thing.
Exactly.
If, you're going to go to the beach and be with a bunch of teenagers or young people, it's one thing. If you're going to, look that way in a room where you're in a professional setting, you just have to know your audience and be self-aware. But I think that's where a lot of people lack that self-awareness. They don't know how to dress for the occasion. They don't worry about it in California.
Yes, 100%. And I one of the things that drives me crazy, and I just hear my grandmother and grandfather always saying, is like, there's no such thing as being overdressed, right, for an event. The worst thing you could do is be underdressed.
Yeah.
And I think people have a hard time regulating like the difference between like a black tie or a cocktail attire, and they come in with sneakers and jeans, and it's like, well, that's not what it actually means, right?
I feel like in the last 2 months, I've had a lot of those experiences where I started almost like doubting myself. Do I have high expectations here? Am I like some snob who just expects people to be dressed up and look professional at certain events? Like, for example, I go to this one event where it was supposed to be this business mixer, and I think I was the only person who was dressed up. And because people there were wearing white socks with sandals that have the ones that stick on each other.
That is,
you're killing me.
I can't handle that.
And that's not where I thought I was going.
That's not the vibe we were giving.
So what would you say for someone who's a party to a lawsuit, like a plaintiff or a defendant? How would you recommend that they would dress?
So are they guilty? Or
Great question.
Are they guilty or not?
Everything is arguable.
Exactly.
That's why we're here.
Allegedly.
That's why they pay us the big bucks.
Allegedly. Keep it simple, right? Like the acronym KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. You can never go wrong with all black, right? And no labels, obviously, because people are very judgmental. If you go in there, especially if you're considered someone who has wealth, you come in there with, Gucci head to toe. Again, it's off-putting to the jury. And just people in general, right? And it's like, oh, they're a rich asshole. He probably did it. We're going to send him away, no matter what the facts say. So just be mindful. No labels. Super simple. And think about, in my case, I would say, what would my parents wear?
Yeah.
Right? Because, again, I think people would take, this is probably going to sound bad, but people who take jury duty the most serious, I think, are the generation above us. It's like the last ones who really do, because I know a lot of my friends are like, oh, I hate jury duty. It's a pain in the ass. Like, they don't have that civic duty is not so high. And so, again, what would my parents dress like? Because that's who I would imagine would be considered a peer.
That's a good tip.
Yeah.
And keeping in mind that juries are people.
Exactly.
And the judge is a person. And technically it's supposed to be neutral and they're supposed to look at the facts. But, humans, like you said, it's an animalistic tendency to judge other people. And a lot of those judgments will come from how you present.
Okay, what if someone has no clue where to start?
Well, they call me. I always say start a mood board, right? Like, pick up some magazines and find out what inspires you. I know that sounds like cheesy, but you spend so much of the day wearing clothes, you should find something that you actually like, right? What colors that you actually like, what patterns you like, things like that. And just create a little mood board. You can just do it on your phone, nothing crazy. Just try on some of the clothes. Understand what some of the fits are like, fabrics, read the tags. Every time I'm with a client, I make them read the tags so they understand slim fit versus skinny versus athletic. Really get to understand what you're going to be putting on your body.
Can you explain those styles, what they should be looking for?
So depending on what you're built like, right? So
are you talking about men or women right now?
Everyone. So this is across the board. Yeah, but men are simpler, right? So you can make it as simple as possible. Men will love that, right? Simplicity. So again, just knowing the most universal style for a man that's going to work perfectly is a slim straight. Doesn't matter if you're a little chunky, if you're really, really thin, a slim straight pant is going to work for you 9.99999 times out of 10. So all you have to do is look at the back of the tag and see. If it says skinny, don't do it. If it says athletic or like oversized, don't do it unless you're like a fashion guy, right?
I'm going to play this for my son because he wants everything oversized.
And your husband. Yes. What do you say to people who think that style is shallow or that don't have any time for it?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. One, I think that there are, if we're just going to be frank, they're lying because they have a style themselves. Because if you look, style is basically how you wear something repeatedly. So no matter if you think you don't have style, you continuously every day wake up and try and fight the trends of L, the trends of all this kind of stuff. So that is your style. You have a rebellious style. So even when you think you don't have style, there's style in there. And so everyone has time. If you have time to brush your teeth, you have time to watch Netflix, you have time to eat, you have time to develop style. So essentially what you're telling me is that you have enough time to live in the world, but you don't have enough time to care about what you look like doing so or how others perceive you. And I think that is just bullshit. It just really gets down to the core of your confidence and helps to emote that.
What's the best advice you have given someone on Fox 5 show, looking back?
I did a makeover on this mom. So she was going through a divorce and she had put all of her focus into getting her daughter to college. And so she really was something, like style wasn't really her thing. And so I never forget this. I put her in this like black and maroon top, this sequined skirt, and these like ballet flats. Because I believe in that you style for someone's life. Like she's not a heel woman. So putting her in heels is not going to be beneficial. If anything, she might see how well she looks in it, and maybe she can't use them for age, things like that. It would make her feel worse, right? So it's like giving her a cute, like really cute flat to do that. And I mean, I went to her house before we did the on-air segment to make sure everything fit. And then she starts crying, and I start crying. I was like, oh my God. Like, she just never thought that she could, like, look so pretty. And I think, you know, women, when they have focus on being a mother, being a wife, being a career person, it's so easy for women rather, who are naturally nurturing, to forget about themselves. So it's like all the water's going out, but none of it's coming in.
Yes.
And then you have nothing, and you don't feel like the beautiful flower that you are.
Yes.
And so that was hit to this day. I've probably done maybe like 100 and some segments. That will always be my number one segment. Like, it's good I'm talking about that. It's just it's why I do what I do, right? I love seeing people, just that confidence, right? People may think it's so silly, but watching someone slouching, putting on something great, being like, and seeing them light up, and just like, well, you know, start crying. So I'm gonna,
What do you put on to feel good about yourself when you're having a shitty day?
A robe. It's so funny. I love my.
What kind of robe? Tell us what kind of robe.
It is.
Is it cheetah print? Is it cheetah print?
No. It's a white plush robe from Ralph Lauren. Yeah, it's just something. And I don't take it out very often, but like if I'm having a rough day, I'll just put it on. It's comfortable, and I love clothes. I love what I do, but sometimes for me, it's the escape, right? So it's just like, I'm just gonna sit in my robe.
So for this glam tip of the week, we're gonna hear from Dean.
Yes, I would say the glam tip would be to put a little bit of extra cologne or perfume behind your ear. Go to Sephora, get the samples, because when you heat up, it interacts differently when you're cold. So just spray some on for a week, see how your body reacts to it, and you're good.
I used to spray myself with a ton of perfume, and I didn't feel it.
Yes.
Now, when somebody sprays themselves at least twice, it's too much for me. Like, one spray is enough.
You must hate being around me.
No, I don't smell you.
Really?
Actually, I do smell it. But
Yeah.
it's not that bad.
It's
People-
Chanel.
I mean, it's not that bad. You don't
It's
smell
not that
that
bad.
bad.
It's
Chanel chance.
It's tolerable.
You know,
We'll take it. It's
not,
fine. It's fine.
It's not too much. It's normal.
People put on. That's one thing too drives me crazy is people put on cologne like it's rose water. They just start spraying it everywhere, and it's like that's not how you do that, right? Especially if you have nice clothes, because what it does is it'll just start to disintegrate the materials and things like that.
Yeah.
Like you have cashmeres and silks and things like that. So I always say just spray it here, boom, and then here. This way that people, when they come talk to you, they go, "Oh, that smells good," but it's not overbearing. Spraying it on your neck and that's just it's a
In
lot.
former Slovenia, we used to put a little bit here, a little bit here, here, and here. That's how
all
it
you
was
need.
taught.
That's
Yeah,
all you
me
need.
too.
I just spray it once here, I just spray here, this, and then I just do this. That's all you have to do.
It's so interesting because scent is such a strong sense. And
Yeah.
I think that your perfume makes such a strong statement about you.
Yes.
I remember when I was growing up, like some of my memories with my mom are always associated with Coco Chanel Mademoiselle mixed with
Iconic.
120 Capris.
Oh my god.
Menthols.
My Nana June. Oh my god, those long.
Uh-huh.
My Nana June smoked those shoes. Oh my god.
So like every time I would like put my face on my mom's like chest, it would be the combination of Coco Chanel, Mademoiselle, and Capris.
Does not sound good to me.
It's not so good. I do like the Coco Chanel,
But I know
Mademoiselle.
exactly what
but
you're talking about. Yes,
yeah,
I
but
know
it's like
that.
a core memory for
It's
me.
surprising
and
you
it's like,
didn't create a negative association with Coco Chanel
Yes.
after mixed with the cigarette smell.
Yeah, and it's
no, it's opposite. I now enjoy the smell of cigarette smoke because it like
Because it
reminds me of
you
childhood.
that.
It's nostalgic.
Yeah.
So what's
Yeah,
next
yeah.
for you?
So right now I'm working on a book. It's called Start With Style. I believe anyone wanting to start being curious about fashion, or if you're going through a change in your life, you've lost weight, you've got a promotion, you unfortunately gone through a divorce, or you moved to a different country, what are some of the key things that you can do to make sure that your style translates wherever you're going? So I do things like how to create a cologne bar in there, what makes a good tailor, what makes a good cobbler, proper underwear, things like that. So it's really going to be a guide, like a how-to thing.
For both men and women?
For both, yeah.
No boxers for men.
No boxers for men. Or thongs.
Dean, thank you for reminding us that image is power and that women can dress however they want to feel confident and successful.
Remember, whether you're in Louboutins or loafers, courtroom or cocktail hour, your style speaks volumes.
And we're here to help you say what needs to be said. Subscribe, follow, and stay glam with us every week on the Glamorous Grind.